Greetings everyone! This is a quick promo before the video begins. If you're new to the channel and you didn't know it yet, I am actually an author in addition to being a YouTuber, and I have 2 books that you can get on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1 and The Occult Mafia. The first is sort of a bizarre, absurdist kaiju anime mashup, and the other is a horror noir story with a hint of a western thrown in there. They're both set in the same universe, and at this point have received mostly positive reviews, so you might want to check them out. I've provided Amazon links for both of them down in the description. They're both available in either paperback or Amazon Kindle, and Operation Red Dragon is also available in audiobook form. So if either of these strike your fancy and you want to support a struggling artist, feel free to go down and check out either one or both of them. Alright, the shameless self-promotion is out of the way, we can get on with the video. Thank you all for your support. Alright, let's get this out of the way first and foremost. Oh my gosh, there is a Donald Trump in the trailer. Animaniacs has crossed the line by getting political. Ah. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm not especially surprised by this, for 2 reasons. First, Trump is everywhere. People have made their entire careers off of making fun of him, and woe be unto those people if he does lose in November. But also, the original Animaniacs did stuff like this too. Or did you forget that Bill Clinton plays the sax while Wacko packs away the snacks? They were referencing the sitting president and other current politicians all the time in those original shows. Not just Animaniacs, but Pinky and the Brain and Freakazoid. So it was only natural they'd reference Trump as well. They would have done the same with Hillary if she had been the one in charge, which would have made the 90s nostalgia even heavier, really, but not that I think that would have justified putting Hillary in office. I wonder if I should cut that. Well, technically I didn't think either Trump or Hillary were fit to be in office, so Not that I don't have more to say about it, but for now let's focus on the rest of the trailer. And the rest of the trailer is, yet again, very difficult to judge. I'm having a very hard time really getting a read on all of this new Animaniacs stuff. It's a montage of jokes, as any trailer for a comedy series would be. But since those jokes are being presented without context, it's difficult to judge how well they work. Some of them are pretty amusing, some of them are kind of eye-rolling. At least one made me kind of cringe, but overall, I can't really make any sort of exact calls on it at the moment, because it's only a trailer presenting us with jokes that we don't know the full extent of. I will say it's weird to see these characters referencing modern contemporary things, but then again, much like with the political stuff, they were referencing modern and contemporary things back in the 90s when all of that stuff was modern and contemporary. So again, not necessarily out of place for these characters. It all ultimately will come down to the execution, and that's what I think most people are wondering about. How will it be executed? And just based on this, like I said, it's not easy to tell. There does seem to be a fair amount of self-referential, self-aware, bite-the-hand kind of humor. Like the trailer opens with the characters talking smack about reboots, only to then receive their huge check for signing on for Hulu. I mean, that feels like the kind of joke that the original show would have done, had it done something like this. So, that much at least seems to be in order. But then you have shots like this, which look like they're aping the Gurren Lagann style. I think that's the style that's generally used by Studio Trigger these days. So, this is presented without any sort of context of what it's for. So, how am I supposed to make any sort of statements about that other than it's good-looking animation? It definitely does emulate that style. But as far as whether or not it's funny or whether or not it works in context of the greater episode, I can't really say anything because this is all we have to go on. So I guess the trailer still technically has me intrigued because I'm not repulsed. I don't really know what to think. It could go any particular way. I'm recognizing stuff that could very well have worked in the original show had these references been around during that time. I'm seeing stuff that, well, like I said, difficult to make any sort of judgments. I really don't know. It doesn't look awful. Aside from maybe a couple of things that might be nothing, but on the other hand might be something. Like I said, there's a Trump reference. That would have been in the original show. But then we get the no mansplainy line. That, by the way, is the one part that actually did have me cringe a little. And I combine that with the knowledge that characters like Hello Nurse and Minerva Mink were dropped from the show for being inappropriate. And by being inappropriate, they apparently mean being drawn to be physically attractive with those crazy measurements of theirs. I mean, Minerva Mink I didn't think was ever going to make the reboot because she was barely in the original show. But Hello Nurse was a more constant character. And to have her cut specifically for that reason, I mean, we've seen that happen in other reboots. Miss Bellum was cut from the Powerpuff Girls reboot for the same reason. And that has me wondering, if that's what's considered inappropriate these days, exactly how much freedom is this show gonna have? I was discussing this with a friend of mine that I showed the trailer to, and we were discussing a little back and forth about, like, what exactly are the standards of today, and how much have they changed compared to what you had in 1993? And what I determined was the standards of 2020 are nearly impossible to figure out. Try figuring out what is and is not considered appropriate and you will go insane. On the one hand, you've got people having lynch mobs go after them because of gay jokes they made 10 years ago that everybody forgot about. And on the other hand, Cuties is on Netflix. You tell me where the line is supposed to be drawn, because I gave up trying to figure out on my own a long time ago. And Animaniacs is one of those shows where obviously it didn't have that much freedom. There were network censors to deal with. There were concerned parents groups back in the 90s. So it could only push the envelope so far, but it really did know how to push the envelope and exactly how far it could be pushed before they officially crossed the line. But the standards of today seem to be so out of whack because we've got all this other stuff that just wasn't there in the 90s. All these things people are now looking for and lenses that they're viewing everything through that just did not exist back then. And how's that going to affect this show? I mean, we already saw tiny little hints of it, both in this trailer and knowing what's going on behind the scenes. So it's not necessarily something that I think would be worthy of a full-blown tabloid-esque piece like so many other channels on YouTube are doing these days. But it does have me wondering, like, there are so many things in the original show that these days would be frowned upon. Just Yakko and Wacko being attracted to women and chasing after them, that would be considered inappropriate these days. That would be a Me Too kind of thing. I don't think that's going to make it into this show. Or if it does, I don't know. I really don't know what to say in that regard. But if there's anything that would have me worried, and which seems to have a lot of people worried, it would be that. But then again, there's really nothing solid to build that on quite yet. By which I mean, I think people are expecting it because they've seen it happen so much these days that it's just kind of taken for granted that it's going to happen here. But I don't know if there's anything really solid to prove it's going to happen. Again, I haven't really seen anything in this trailer that would not have been in the original series. Though again, the times have changed. So I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I should be able to better articulate my thoughts than I am. But for some reason, this one just has me stumped. I mean, what I do on this channel is share my thoughts on these sort of things. And yet, I don't know what to make of this reboot 3 videos in. Granted, we haven't actually seen a full episode yet. But, I don't know, it's just difficult to get a read on. Which, in a weird roundabout sort of way, is appropriate. Again, I want this reboot to be good. It's just hard to get a read on. Well, we'll see what happens soon enough. Maybe we'll get even more of these sort of things in the future. Not just more trailers, but maybe extended clips. Maybe they'll upload a whole first episode. People have been known to do that. I mean, Disney Channel's been uploading the first episodes of all of their new shows recently, so why not this one as well? We will see. I hope it's good. I remain cautious in my approach. That's just about all I can say at the moment. Until such time as we meet again, this is the OmniViewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, then go down to the description to find links to follow us on DeviantArt, Patreon, and Twitter. While you're there, you'll also find the Amazon links for the original novels Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, and The Occult Mafia. 2 books I think you'll really enjoy. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.